Today, I'm attempting my first ever weld seam on this M4A1 Sherman, and honestly, it could go very wrong. I'm building and detailing the M4A1 Sherman mid-production. I'll be adding realistic drill details with my pin vise and attempting my first turreted weld seam, and showing you a simple trick to make your stowage removable and easier for painting. Let's get started. Dealing with a gap can be a real pain, but to make it flush with the chassis, sanding is definitely necessary in this case. This way, once the upper hull and the chassis are glued together, a good snug fit happens and there's no gaps anywhere. Drilling out the locating marks for the drive housing may not seem that important now, but you'll be glad you did when you drill out the bolt head on the drive housing, showing a little love and showing the missing bolt. Then it was time to retexture the transmission cover. There was texture on the kit part, but why not improve the texture with some Tamiya extra thin cement, a toothbrush? Using the stippling motion, you can easily achieve this texture. A lot of modelers glue their stowage directly to the tank. If you stick around and keep watching, I'll show you a way to make it removable. Even with cast texture products on the market, I have always had the best results with the Tamiya extra thin cement, toothbrush, and the stippling motion. Using a 600 grit Tamiya sanding sponge, I ran it over the kit part, just hitting the high points left from the stippling, using no pressure, being sure not to sand away the texture that I just created. I wanted to add some more detail, so I drilled out the bolt head on the transmission cover to show a missing bolt, using the missing bolt as a point of interest on the vehicle once the vehicle had been painted and weathered. It's definitely important to make sure everything is straight when having to add these small parts that the upper hull sits on. This way your hull sits flat, flush, and not on some weird angle. One of my absolute favorite parts of building, sanding road wheel seams. But not when there's a crack in the plastic. Some Tamiya putty easily fixed the crack. Just like the missing bolt from the transmission cover, adding a missing bolt on the drive housing just adds another point of interest to this beautiful kit. I know these tiny holes don't look like much now, but wait until you see how they affect the finished model. The bogey system, I didn't film when I was assembling the bogies. Almost every time I applied glue to the plastic, it started to crack, needing to sand and fill more than I wanted to. As I was adding the rest of these kit parts, I thought it'd be a great idea to use old Sherman kits I had for the light guards, periscope guards, and for the machine gun up on top. Now the stowage boxes only had wood grain on the top and the bottom, so using 120 grit sandpaper, pulling it in a couple of different paths, with the help of my hobby blade, I was able to create a beautiful wood texture. Down in the comments below, with how advanced model kits are nowadays, do you think the stowage boxes should come with wood grain on all four sides? Coming up next is the part I've never tried before, the turret weld seam. Let's see if I can pull it off. To make my weld seam, I use Tamiya's 2-part epoxy putty, mixing equal parts of each till fully blended. But first, I needed a surface to roll the putty on, so I bought a cheap mat at a local dollar store, cut a section out to use to roll the putty out with. Once I had the putty mix, a surface to roll it on, I added the water directly to the putty and the mat to prevent it from sticking while I rolled it out to the desired size. Cutting a smaller piece off to get it to the thickness I needed to apply to the turret. While doing this for the first time, I discovered one thing that's important. No pressure is needed unless you want a flat piece of putty. Once I was happy with the thickness, I was ready to put the putty on the turret. Using a hobby blade and a toothpick dampened with water to avoid the putty sticking to the tools while filling the seam. Now, I was planning on using the T-Rex Studio M4 Sherman tracks for this build, but unfortunately, the 3D printed tracks, about 10 of them were incomplete molds, so I was unable to use them and create 2 full runs. But I was able to salvage it, and I was able to use a section of that track link for the stowage. The other kits that gave their life for this model to be completed were 2 Tamiya kits and 1 MiG. Next, I used a homemade tool to apply the weld seam texture to the putty. And with that, I had made my very first weld seam, and to say I'm very impressed with how it turned out. Next, I decided to use a popsicle stick to make close to scale a 1x6 piece of wood, using sanding pads to make it to size, then using my hobby blade to cut it up, cut the ends, and carve out pieces to make it look used and old. Don't glue your stowage down just yet. I'll show you a trick that makes painting much easier. When adding stowage to my kits, I do one thing to make it easier to paint. I only glue the piece of stowage that touches one another to make it removable for painting. Doing this allows me to paint it easier so I don't knock off a piece of the kit. But also so I can paint and weather where the stowage sits, adding a bit more shadow and depth to the stowage. All stowage that is on this vehicle came from two Tamiya kits, one Ming kit, and this kit, which is a border model kit. Honestly, this kit is actually really nice. My only complaint with the border model kit is the fit issue with the bogies and a few other little places, but overall, this is really a beautiful kit. And with that, the M4A1 Sherman is done and ready to be broke down and moved to the priming stage. I greatly appreciate you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will see you guys on the next one.